Good morning. How are you?
Morning.
We're here to do the newspapers. Which one were you looking
I'll
at?
start off with the Finder newspaper. Front page of the Finder. Don't cap interest rates. It will be counterproductive. Premium Bank MD declares. Also, calm down. NPP supporters. Chief Imam to Nanado Institute on Fair Trade Law. That's a bar saying there. Overvoting allegation. Lawyer punches EC. Female parliamentarians now 35, and that's where I'm going to start off with a bit of the details in the Finder newspaper. That story, page 16, inside the Finder. Now we've got 35 females in parliament, and that's such a big deal for us because we didn't have that number. And the paper says Ghana's next parliament will see 35 women take their place as female legislators after the 2016 general elections. This number is an increase of 6 from the election 2012 figure of 29, where 133 women contested 102 parliamentary seats. Of the 35 seats, 12 are held by the National Democratic Congress and 23 held by the New Patriotic Party, but the figure represents only 12.72% of the total parliamentarians. Yet again, fallen short of the 30% mark. Activists at the Beijing Conference of 1995 deemed satisfactory. And you can take your time and read a lot about this. And I wish that a lot of women will read and they will be encouraged to stand for such positions. Who knows? I mean, there's 2020, yeah? So we can even get the figure out. We can double the 35 and then we can build on it. But that's the Finder.
A very good morning to you, Rebecca Sapak. You are currently at Achim Swedro. I hope that you're having a good time this morning. And I hope that when you get to school, you have a special time too, Rebecca. And this one also, it's on the front page, a story about Nanado Dankwa Akufo-Addo receiving the hierarchy of the Ghana Police Service. Daily Graphic says IGP calls on Akufo-Addo. Office of Special Prosecutor in Orphan and Invisible Forces take over toll booth. Those stories on page 16 of the paper. But just in case you don't know who your parliamentary candidate is, or elect is. No, your MP elect is. Please check the inside pages of the Daily Graphic. You'll find the results there. Especially if you know that the one you were tipping to win didn't win, and you want to know the numbers by which he lost or she lost, please check the inside pages of the Daily Graphic. And so you have nothing to fear, Akufo-Addo assuring political opponents. But we have the results there on the inside pages. So please make sure that you get there. And then you get to locate some of those results. Please let us know what you think about those numbers that your candidate also got. All right.
You're done?
Yeah.
Before I go to the Ghanaian Times, there's a story I wanted to share a bit of in the Finder. It says, lawyer H. Kwesi Prempeh says, the failure of the Electoral Commission to tell Ghanaians how it detected overvoting and how many polling stations and constituencies were involved raises questions about the intervention it intended to make in the form of reviewing of the results. And here's a quote. It is disturbing that the headquarters of the Electoral Commission is getting involved in the results, on quotes, he said in a Facebook post. And it continues to tell you the things that he's raised about this. But yesterday, a lot of people said, well, this is one of the things that we've got to interrogate with the Electoral Commission. We've got to know what they knew at the time and why the results in the way were delayed. But let's move on to the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Chief Imam, others call on Nana. 44 died in accident in election period. Hooligans causing violence across the country. Mr. John Kudalo is on the front page of the paper. The question is, why is the police doing nothing really about these people who are causing a lot of fear and panic in the system in certain areas? Akufo-Addo's road closed, and it says the police have closed the road in front of the President-elect Nanado Dankwa Akufo-Addo's residence, leading to the Youngsters International School at Nima, Accra, to traffic. Residents and other commuters who hitherto used that portion of the road would have to use the rear of the house or other roads near the Nima roundabout. Okay, so the Nima Divisional Police Commander, Assistant Commissioner of Police, Vance Gariba, said the move had become necessary because the area had become a security zone. But this, if you know this road very well, it's not one that is heavily used. I'm not sure it will cause any inconvenience to anybody. That's the Ghanaian Times, Roland.
So we have the long front page. They decided to use the back and front page now. That's the Daily Guide. Since Nana shot into the lead in the elections, etc. And subsequently now pronounced president-elect. Nana beat Mahama with 1 million votes. Charlie, the Daily Guide, they never stop to rabbiting. They're always rabbiting for the NDC. Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo of the MPP beat the NDC with 1 million votes.
Charlie, but that's massive. That's massive.
Yeah. Finally, Finale Limited floors the Mashi. And then we have Hannah Bissio mad over defeat. Well, according to reports, apparently she had donated some hospital equipment, and then after the defeat, she went to take them back.
I don't want to believe that.
Yeah, me too.
I don't want to believe that.
But
when I saw it, I didn't want to believe it.
Those are reports.
Yeah.
Not that I believe it, but they are reports. We are doing review of the newspaper, so we are allowed to actually.
I don't think she's that petty.
I don't know. I have not said she is.
No, I'm not talking to you. I'm just responding to the...
As
if somebody has paid me to respond.
You are making general comments.
Yes. Why do you feel targeted?
Me?
Yes.
Oh, how?
Why do you feel I'm responding to you? Are you the story?
No, don't worry. MPP goes to court over 5 seats. We're told that one of the seats is Elembele.
Elembele,
and then you have... congratulations to President-elect. All the pictures there from over the weekend. President-elect. It's like when a new chief is installed, you have to go and pay homage. Sometimes it's part of the drill, so that they will know that apart from respect, Mr. Meshaho, just in case there are new goodies coming on the way. So Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, President-elect.
Shouldn't we also go and say hello to
Congratulations. No, we are already saying it here.
No, he may not hear.
We'll come and visit you at home to pay our homage. To say that we as media, we are key stakeholders in the governance process. Oh, one thing.
So that the next time when
I'll say cooperation of everybody.
When he's giving what's up, then he will mention our names. Yeah?
You see, because we said that she didn't mention our names. He didn't mention our names. So
let's do the Business and Financial Times before you do the Daily Dispatch. Front page of the BNFT. Nana must ride labor issues. ADB begins trading on GSC. It's been a tough battle. The Agricultural Development Bank yesterday began trading on the Ghana Stock Exchange after having successfully raised about 325.7 million Ghana cedis in its initial public offer. More details on that story in the Business and Financial Times. Backpage Premium Bank commences operations. There are a lot more stories when you grab the Business and Financial Times news.
Okay, talking about a lot more stories, we have some also on the front page of the Daily Dispatch newspaper. The Daily Dispatch, exclusive analysis of 2016 presidential election, focused on Greater Accra and Ashanti. Rawlings will try and take over the NDC in opposition Kweku Baako. Haruna Atta on post-election violence in Ghana. Haruna Atta. Sorry, election, you know, when you are the hero, everything is good. When you are the villain in a war, they say so many things again. Oh, Haruna Atta.
Oh, God.
Good morning to you, Your Excellency.
Charlie, that's politics, man. You know, and I'm sure the politicians can understand. You have to live with it.
This man had a great influence in my journalism career.
Oh, that's good. Good to know.
Yeah.
Let's do the online news now. Let's check out what's making headlines on myjoyonline.com. So, Mole National Park to become World Heritage Site. Story says that the Mole National Park could become a World Heritage Site by July next year if Ghana passes the evaluation test to list it. We'll see how that goes. Moving on, Akufo-Addo urged to reignite patriotism in Ghanaians. Beige firms up capital asset management competence with staff training. We're not in coup situation, Adekoka laments. That's the Greater Accra chair of the National Democratic Congress, who is incensed at what he says is violent attacks on supporters of his party and has called on President-elect Nana Akufo-Addo to, you know, control the situation. Also, EC makes a U-turn. Our systems were not hacked, but we've got to play back that conversation, Roland, sometime in the show.
Yes, we got to.
Maxwell Agbagba and Yusiva Yubo of the Electoral Commission. There are still a lot more things that we need out of the Electoral Commission. So watch out for this. Is it Riyad Mahrez, Roland? Voted BBC African Footballer of the Year 2016. And this was just yesterday. And I was thinking, you know, the day you was in the running, but I felt that maybe because of the elections and maybe because of his injury, you know, we didn't really ask people to vote. It wasn't major headlines in Ghana. So the day was in this particular race, but he missed it. And it was this guy who was crowned the winner of this year's BBC African Footballer of the Year award. Mahrez victory. I think he plays for Leicester. Yeah, yes, he plays for Leicester.
It was in the winning team.
Yeah.
And there was speculation that he would go to Arsenal during the transfer window.
Okay.
But
he stayed with Leicester.
Yeah.
That's a good guy.
You know that kind of loyalty.
He knows where he's coming from.
I think that's.
But sometimes
that's a very bullish and stupid loyalty.
No, I don't think so. Sometimes you're local champion when you stay with the locals, and the moment you fly away to the big clubs, you see that you'll be drowned. So he knows himself.
Then maybe he's not good enough.
No, maybe he feels this is not the right time. He's not matured enough.
Well, true.
Yeah.
You've got to
know yourself before you make a move.
There are many people who advise players on what decisions.
And it's not all about the money sometimes.
Oh, maybe they could be paying him very well because he did very well last season. So maybe the pecs are good. What he takes every week, he may not be taking in Arsenal.
Yeah.
Even though he may have been bought with a good deal and things like that. Yeah.
Probably if he had made a move to Arsenal, who knows? He probably would not have been in this race. All right, so let's move on. IGP pays Akufo-Addo a visit, pledges loyalty to him. Let's do the final one. Aftermath of attacks, Miss Bell deletes photos, unfollows everyone on Instagram. Oh, Miss Bell, baby, what were you thinking, darling? Politics is not a game for little girls. You've got to be tough to get into it. She's having to deal with it. Charlie, you get over it very soon, eh? It won't last forever. That's all you should know. All right, so President Mahama joins ECOWAS leaders for mediation in the Gambia. There are a lot of stories that you can check out when you log on to myjoyonline.com. That's our website. Let's move on. Roland, you want to look at City FM?
Yeah. Okay, very good morning to you, F1 Antoinette. Just in case that you don't have any site to log on to, myjoyonline.com is a site for you. F1 Antoinette, you are in Romford, UK.
I'm sure she was following the elections with us all through.
Yeah. All right, so we have transition office has no car.
Forced to use Okada, yeah.
Forced to use Okada, oh.
No, but this is it. It's one of the offices that we don't pay attention to. Okay. They become useful and topical when in a period like this, when there's transition.
So when there's no transition?
The last transition was not like a transition from one party to the other. It was within the same party, so we couldn't really hear them. Now, because per the law, Roland, I think about 21 days to the elections itself, all the government's people must have done their handing over notes and given to this office. Yesterday,
Adamus Mutawakilo, who is the Member of Parliament for Damango, got re-elected, but also in Parliament, the Vice Chair of the Mines and Energy Committee said that apparently some instruction has been given by the President prior to the elections.
Okay, okay.
So we're hoping that all of them did.
Because, what it is
the way the election the defeat has come as a shock. I don't know whether
they prepared or not. So what it is by now, the opposition that is, you know, going to form the new government now will not be taking the handing over notes directly from the NDC ministers. They're going to be taken from this office. But we know that this office is so poor, and the question is, do they really have all these things that they're supposed to have and hand over? The original copies of the handing over notes to, you know, Akufo-Addo and his team. That's what's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
We'll wait to see in the coming days.
Yeah, definitely. We'll see how that goes. You have more stories?
Yeah. Post-election violence could escalate. Dr. Enin wants. Why do I think otherwise? Independent prosecutor
you think
will find...
it won't escalate?
I don't think so. I think it's just a phase, you know, just the early stages. Independent, but all depends on the police. Seriously, I don't see why they're not acting. I don't get it. Independent prosecutor will fight corruption efficiently. And Nana Danko Ekofo-Addo says so. And every person, I think every Ghanaian by now is waiting for that independent prosecutor. A lot of people are tipping. You know who they're tipping?
Who?
Oh,
Martin Amidu.
Yes.
Okay.
A lot of people say if he is the independent prosecutor, that will be good because he's not going to spare NDC and he's certainly not going to spare MPP. Yeah. NPP has to count for recounts of 5.
MPP Empire and the independent prosecutor appointed by their president is prosecuting their own. Because, I mean, they're politicians. We'll be hearing Manasseh Azuri Amoni doing reports 2 years down the line about perceived corruption in an MPP government led by Nana Danko Akufo-Addo. And then all hell will break loose. So he will be taking the actions. But then the good thing is that we would have had a president who is committed to it. Yeah. That is, if he's committed
to it. This is something that he said he was going to do. And people keep reminding him. People keep reminding him. I am happy that he's not running away from all the things that he outlined that he was going to do. Remember the military? We had Dominic Nitiwu, who's part of the transition team on the military, the age, and it's still on top of their minds. So we'll see.
Oh, the increasing it from 25 to 30.
Yeah.
The age. I think that's very good. I told you, as a former military person's son, I think it's a very good thing because sometimes you get to see your friends' fathers, and sometimes the way they just retire too early and become not useful to the society because maybe they haven't updated their skills or developed their knowledge and competence levels in such a way that they could fit in. They always don't tend to have the plan Bs, and not the officers but the other ranks. They tend to have a lot more difficulties.
I've got 3 suggestions for the new administration that's coming in.
Can I have the pen?
Yeah, I mean, if you're closer to them, you can pass it on to them. My first suggestion is collapse Iyoko. Get rid of Iyoko. Are you writing seriously?
Yes. Okay, I'm writing.
All right, so 1, get rid of Iyoko, and let's have the public prosecutor occupy that space independently. Okay. 2, appoint a substantive boss of Strash and strengthen Strash. You get what I mean?
Boss.
Yeah. Get a substantive boss for Strash. What's the third one like? I can't remember.
You can't remember? Oh, you rather giving the
suggestion. You confused me.
Charlie Trio. Please, I'm writing. Okay.
There will be the third one. It will come up. But if you've got any suggestions for President-elect Nana Danko Akufo-Addo and his government, we sure would want to hear that. So send us via WhatsApp on 0560 800.
Get rid of
Iyoko. Scrap Iyoko and get the public prosecutor, have that space and independence.
Yeah, true. Other there will be conflicting roles.
Yeah, right? I mean, Iyoko, like seriously.
They're already conflicting
and
roles.
Strengthen Strash so that the work that Iyoko pretends to be doing. Yeah, Strash can do it properly.
And then Strash boss.
Get a substantive boss because we still don't have, you know.
Charlie, if I was a hip life artist, I'll say, "Oh, you do."
And I've got a third suggestion. It'll come up.
All right, so we have to do the BBC Africa page. Okay, so let's go.
Oh, that's the BBC.
Oh, talks about Mahrez
on the page, but he's a fine breadzer, you know. Okay, Jammeh should step down immediately. Who says so? Gambia's opposition. He should have waited for the man to go, before threatening him. Now he says he won't go. Now he wants a rerun. He's setting up his own. Oh, Charlie. Gambia's opposition says President Jammeh should leave power immediately after he challenged his defeat. But you know, President Mahama is also going to be intervening, Roland, in this matter. So we wait to see. We wish him well. And I hope that he can use his own example. Yaya Jammeh, I mean, you've been there longer than I have been, and I have accepted defeats, and I have moved on. Why can't you do the same? I don't know if you can just say these words to Yaya Jammeh.
The thing is that in Uganda, it's not in the DNA. He will be setting examples there. So
in
it's
Uganda,
finding difficult. After the coup in Gambia, after the coup, he came through a coup in 1994. So he's never organized elections in which anybody has won apart from him. So every time he has been doing the transition to himself. So he's finding it difficult. You know, so now when the thing is not in your DNA, you find it difficult.
Yeah.
Every time transition, you find Roland here, Roland here. So Jammeh here, Jammeh here. He wins. He
goes to Jammeh.
Jammeh there. I'm telling you. Every time.
Well, we're going to say
God.
big good morning to a man that I so respect. I think you fought a good fight. Maybe you have to sit back and look at the strategies.
Amasana Mwale.
Well, you can say that to Amasana Mwale, but I'm talking about Mr. John Alexander Akom, who still remains the Ashanti Regional Minister.
Yeah. A very good morning to you.
Yeah, you would be a fine parliamentarian.
You know, that gentleman, I always say, is the best political communicator I've seen in a while.
Mr. John
Because
Alexander
when you
Akom,
ask him a question, he kind of briefs 1-2 seconds, and then he has a way of taking the point 1-2.
Yeah.
John Alexander Akom.
You're a fine gentleman.
Yes.
I'm sorry that
you never paid homage,
out.
but we're praising you. Don't worry.
I'm sorry it didn't work out, but you know. Whatever you do, I know that you'll be successful. Stay with us. You're watching the End Show. Benedict Owusu-Dankwa, a.k.a. Akwesi Dankwa. He's got a lot more sports. All the election activities drown sports. But Roland, we've got some sports and personalities, or at least one personality who's in Parliament now. One person who's in Parliament. He's made it to be Member of Parliament in the next sitting. And one of the things he says we have to do, you know, the GFA and the ministry and this administration, you know, the relationship hasn't been really good. And he thinks that would be one of the places to focus attention on. Oh, Benedict, what is his name? Benedict's Christian Soa Odote.
Oh.
Yes. Oh, Vincent.
Vincent Soa.
Yes.
That's for La Dade Kotopon.
Yeah.
He unseated Say Namwale.
Oh, Charlie.
Yes, Namwale.
Yeah. All right, so stay with us. We've got a lot more things to do. Sports right after this.